Continuing from previous lecture, just like we have seen numbers matching up or being used in if then statement, for example conditions and then the criteria or the action against that, we can also use the strings. So let's see how we can use that. Let me just quickly show you another example. The example that I have put in is this one, if then string, this file. So let's see the contents of this one. Pretty much the same thing, but this time these are not numbers. I am treating them as strings, and I'm not using the, you see, the values which were greater than or GE, not those values, rather I just put in equal to sign. So if the characters of this variable, also notice one more thing that I have put in double quotes around these ones. So now these are being treated as strings. So if this value of string 1 is equal to the value of string 2, it should print out that the strings are equal. If not, then it should say that they are not. So let's try to execute this one in this window by putting in if string, and let's just call this string as say Poland, and the other string as Poland, and it says that the strings are equal. Let's try to change the characters. Let's say Poland and Puland and see if it can find the difference or not. So it says that the strings are not equal. So you can match the strings based on this equal to sign, and also make sure that you put the strings in double quotes. Also make sure that once you are putting this if and then statement, then these brackets that I'm using, after that give this space, otherwise your script will give you error. And if must be ended with this phi. So do take care of these things that I have mentioned over here, that this is the start of the if, this is the end of if, and brackets should be having spaces in between the values. This if then statement, it can also take in the values of the commands. So let's see how we can do that. Let's just get out of this one and let's try to create another script by putting in, let's say vi and say com for command, and in here I type in if and then start of the bracket, then minus s, and let's just say that in home Ahmed, and let's try to find the file in home Ahmed by the name of testing. So what it's doing is that it will, by using this minus s value that I have put in over here, it's not the value, is the switch that I'm using. So by using this, it will check that if this testing file is created or not. If it is created, then what it should do, and if it is not, then what it should do. So let's say if this file is already created, once it gets the value of this if statement, then it can, what it can do is that it can print a statement in then, and it could very well be, let's say echo, and it can say that file exists. But if it does not, then we can put in else statement, and then we can define the action, that touch, and then in home Ahmed and slash testing, and then afterwards phi, or close the if then loop. So let's just try to execute this one. Let's just save this. So it's saved, and let's come over here and see its contents. So this com is here. Let's simply execute this one by using bash and then com, and it has been executed. Now let's see whether that file has been created or not, because that was not there. If it had been there, it would have displayed us the, for example, execute this command one more time. So let's see if it has created the contents or not. Let's just see. So home Ahmed, and we see that indeed it has created this file testing because it was not there. But the question is that this is the command that I ran for the first time. So at the first time, this file would not have been there. But when I executed this command second time, it should have given me this message, which we have put in over here, that echo file existed, isn't it? We should have done that. But not only that, it did not give us this error, it just simply executed the command. So what we can do is that once it gives us the error, it should not go over to this else, rather it should exit the script. So I can put in just exit over here. So exit, and that's it. And now once it finds that this file already exists, it should exit the script instead of going over to this one. So save the changes and let's try to execute this command one more time, which is bash com. One more thing that I also need to mention over here, that with this -s string or -s, it also checks that whether that file has a size of 0 or greater than 0. So if the size is greater than 0, only then this condition is true, that file exists and size greater than 0. But in this case, since there is no value in testing, let's just have a look at that. ls-l testing. Okay, so it's in the it's not in this directory. So let's move on to ls-l/home ahmed and testing, and we see that indeed it's size 0. So let's put in something in there. Let's try to put in, let's say 000 and in home ahmed and testing. Now we see that its value has been changed. Now let's try to execute this script one more time by putting in bash com, and now we say that it says that file exists. We have seen the basic functionality of if then. Now let's also see some other looping techniques, which are like for and while loops. So I have put in those scripts as well over here, like this one, for loop for number. Let's see how we can use for loop for manipulating the numbers. Let's first have a look at that by for loop num. This is the script, pretty simple one, which says that let me remove this one. That's for, this is the start of the loop. For, this is the value of the integer I, and then in that take this value, and these are the middle brackets that I have started, and this one, then double dot, and then 10 means this is the range, and then I have closed this bracket. We can put in like 1, then space 2, then 3 as well, but you can define the range in this way as well. So after that, do that, start doing it, and then echo, and then $, the value of the variable. So in simple words, it will take the value of I as 1 for the first iteration of the loop, then it will take the second value, third, fourth, and up till 10, and then simply print them. So let's see this script in action by typing in for loop number, and indeed we can see that it has simply printed out these numbers in order. And just like in any other script, like we had seen in case of if then, we can also take the input from some command, and based on that command we can put that command in for loop. So let's see that as well. The command that I have used is, I believe, ls command was in there. So anyway, that's the name of the script, for loop command. These are just the names that I have put in so that it would be easier for us to check the contents and make sense out of it. So that's the script that I put in for I. This is again the variable that I'm going to use. And now this, look at this one, this ls, this is the command, and then slash, that's it. So if you type in this one, then wherever you type in, it will show you the root of the Linux machine, isn't it? Because this is slash. And then we say that take that value through $, And once you do that, whatever output is shown, it should echo it on the terminal. So if let's say proc or var or whom or user or lib, all these directories should be printed in the order of I would say in vertical order. So let's see that. Let's type in / then for loop and then command, which is the name of the script, and I press enter, and indeed we see that it has executed this ls space / command, which will show us the contents of the root directory. Now the last type of looping that I want to show you is while, and let me just get out of this for loop and show you the while loop, that simple while loop that I have created by doing a vi or putting it in vi editor. So pretty simple one. This is the variable count. It is being assigned a value of 6. Let's just remove this line. It is just a small line which is saying that it's a bash loop. We can remove it, does not matter anyone. And also let me just remove this one which I had put in over here. So what is doing this variable count, it has got initial value of 6. Now this is the keyword while, and again we are using large brackets, then use that variable, and then again this is the mathematical function greater than 0. Then we could have removed this, or we have placed this one because I am executing the other command right after this command. I could have put this in new line. If I had put this do in new line, then this semicolon would not have been required. So after that, echo, simple echoing that value of count is whatever count is there, and then this is again the keyword which is let. We need to type this one, and then afterwards we say that count, which is the new variable name, is equal to count minus 1, which was the earlier value. So it will do is that 6 minus 1, 5 will become the new value of count, and then this while loop will start again. Once all this is done, until unless this condition is met, which is that count should be greater than to 0, this iteration will occur, and after that the while loop will end. So let's see this in action. Let's type in while and enter, or I'm in some other directory. Okay, so I need to save it because of those commands that were here earlier. I need to save this one and execute this one more time. And did we see that earlier it simply printed out while the value of count was 6, then it started the loop, and since 6 is greater than 0, it simply printed out 6. Then it reduced the count based on this statement to 5, and then the loop started again. 5 is greater than 0, so it printed out 5, and so on and so forth until unless it reached 1. Now in case of while, you should be careful, because sometimes what can happen is, if I put in just like, let's say 1 over here, let's just type in 1 in there. So I just remove this one and put in 1. Now what it is doing, it's saying that while 1, it does not mean anything, it's just 1. So this condition will always be true. And if I execute this script like, let's say while, we see now that this is going to infinitum because this condition is always true. So your CPU is kind of stuck in there, isn't it? So while you are playing with while, be careful that for condition you put in there. So that's all there is to it. As far as scripting basics are concerned, you have seen how to create the script. What does it mean by the shebang or hash bang or pound bang? What does it do? Why do we require it? We have also seen some of the ways in which we can collect the information of variables from the user or standard input, and we can use it to perform certain functions in the script, either loops or simple other scripts. These are just the building blocks. You can use these building blocks to create your own complex scripts, but do remember that some of the basics you need to get right. And most of those we have covered in these videos. So I hope you have learned from this video, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.